for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about how sometimes violence does solve your problems. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Oh, hey, we were supposed to do something for the Viscount. Good thing that guy is still at the Hangman getting drunk and bragging about being an absolute shithead. Hawk gets some information out of the guy. A Templar with a Grand Cleric seal abducted the Qunari and paid our drunkard to turn his head. We don't get the opportunity to speak with Grand Cleric Althena, because Mother Patrice intercepts us to say that the Grand Cleric would never sanction such a thing. But surely it's fine because she trusts her subordinates to do the right thing. If we press Patrice, then she will sacrifice her trusted bodyguard, Sir Varnell, and label him a fanatic. She gives us his location and arrives on her heels to disavow Varnell's actions and set Hawk up as the coming retribution. One dead Templar later, the Viscount has a huge headache to deal with.
Yeah, this mission, there are a lot of missions where it's like, oh, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. Basically, every beat of this mission, I was like, yeah, well, that was to be expected. Oh, they're here? Shocking. That kind of thing.
Yeah, not the best executed, in my opinion. I think that bringing Patrice back is vital to setting up the tension with the Qunari. I do think that. Yeah. However, I don't think that this particular quest really did a great job making it seem like a conspiracy or a plot. Right. It seemed very slapped together from the player perspective. But that being said, let's get into the plot of this quest.
Yes. Who did you bring with you to the Hanged Man?
I'm trying to hang out with Isabel more lately because I love Varric, but Varric and I are already besties. I think he can chill a bit. So I'm trying to hang out with Isabel more. I brought Fenris because he has a history with the Qunari, and I thought that would be, pretty beneficial if we have to talk to the Qunari. And I brought Anders because he is my husband. Yeah. Every quest is a date when you bring your love interest. Anyway, who did you bring?
True. I also brought Fenris, mostly because I thought bringing Aveline on this mission would be a bad idea, just based on what the Viscount's Seneschal tells us. I also brought Anders because though he is not my boyfriend, he is our only healer, and so I need one of those. And I brought Sebastian. I'm trying to bring Sebastian more, mostly because I just don't know his character super well. I feel like on my first playthrough of this game, I basically ignored him. And his take is interesting because this involves the church, and basically from the beginning, he says there's no way the Grand Cleric would sanction this. And we'll talk more about that as we go. Also, I'm a sucker for an accent, so we'll see how far that takes me.
Yeah, too bad he's so straight.
I know. It's such a bummer.
So straight.
So painfully straight. So we go to the Hangman. Fun fact here. So Isabel is also here because there's a mission with her that we can take later. And she hangs out there anyway. When a fight breaks out in the Hangman, if any of your party members are there, they jump in and help you with the fight.
Oh, that's cool.
So we'll get to it later, but she helped me fight. It was pretty funny. Like, I saw the little quest icon above her head as she was running around beating people up. It was great.
That's good. Yeah. I had Isabel with me, so she was already doing a fight for me. We find this guy. He's drinking at the bar, buying drinks for everyone because tonight I'm paid and blessed and all I had to do was turn my head. He is so drunk and belligerent. And he talks about how the Qunari are heathen oxmen. And I was very angry. Yeah. And I decided to fight him. I did not even be like, tell me all the things. I was like, no, I'm going to kick your ass and then you're going to tell me what I want to know.
Same. Like, he's so braggadocious and like full of
Oh,
himself.
braggadocious.
Yeah.
What a good word.
Oh, you're welcome. I have a few of those every so often. And like obnoxious. And like, I love how the first scene is him going to the bar and buying drinks and just bragging to the bartender while we all roll up behind him. It's just a funny scene. I took a screenshot of it. But yeah, and then, I also fought him, and that's when Isabel was like, oh, a fight? Well, I'm going to help, and just joined in with the other three of us. And I love that immediately after we beat him and he's on the ground. Mind you, I summoned an entire thunderstorm into this bar.
Yes.
Nothing got destroyed and nobody died. I want that on the record. I threw a
Because
fireball
you're
and
such
everything.
a good mage.
Exactly. And then when he was on the
You
floor.
got that spell shaping.
I do got that spell shaping. But then this guy immediately turns into a whiny baby the minute he hits the floor. He's like already blubbering and pleading with you before you even ask him anything. It's just like, oh, okay, I see what kind of person this is.
Yeah, my favorite thing that happened is that when you challenge him to a fight, he turns and he's like, come on, boys. All of my new friends are going to help me fight. And they're like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
You bought me a drink. You didn't, like, buy my blade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I love this for you. I'm going to beat the shit out of you, and I'm going to feel really good about it.
Totally. Yeah. And that's when we find out that a Templar, the person who hired him was a Templar, but he didn't get a name. He didn't see their face. He just knows it was a Templar, and it was sanctioned by the Chantry. And so
he had a seal of the Grand Cleric.
That was what it was. Yes, the seal of the Grand Cleric, which is not something that anyone who works as a Templar or for the Chantry has. Only certain people have access to that.
It's like getting a hall pass directly from the principal.
Yes, sure. Yes, we can use that analogy.
I mean, yeah, it's like the principal told me I can do this. Here's a note that says I can do anything I want. This is my permit.
It's like the episode of Parks and Rec where Ron Swanson is trying to do something in the park, and the forest ranger's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I have a permit," and it's just a piece of paper that says I can do whatever I want on it.
Yes, that was what I was referencing. Thank you.
You're welcome. I like to explain it for the audience. It's funnier that way.
Yeah. So when we get to the Chantry, Anders is suspicious of this evidence. Like, we're going to go to the Chantry and accuse the Grand Cleric based on something a drunk man said in a bar. Are you sure?
Yeah, Anders says the same thing to me, and then that's when Sebastian chimes in and goes, yeah, as much as it pains me to say I agree with Anders, I can't imagine the Grand Cleric sanctioning anything like this. While they have done suspicious things here and there, this is definitely far above what the Chantry would ever sanction. And we know that religion is driving Sebastian, but he makes a good point. And even I think our Hawk would agree, like, this is so outside the realm of what the Grand Cleric would do, because we've interacted with the Grand Cleric before.
Right. But it is suspicious that a Templar would have such a prominent symbol of the Grand Cleric. So going to her and saying, hey, you need to know what's happening, I think is an important step. Whether or not we're being accusatory, telling her what's happening, I think needs to be on our to-do list.
Well, right. And even though Sebastian knows Grand Cleric so well because because of how engaged he is with the Chantry, I think that while his view of like it couldn't be her is valid, we need to find out for ourselves. We can't just let this go because we don't think she would do it.
I did put in my notes that I should have had Sebastian with me because he's her baby boy.
It's true. He is. He's got those baby blue eyes.
Yeah. So when we approach one of the sisters of the Chantry and we say we need to speak to the Grand Cleric, Hawk says, tell her 3 Qunari leave an estate and see if she'll finish it.
Yeah. The minute Sister Patrice walks into frame, I went, oh God, you. Okay, no. Well.
Mother Patrice.
Oh, right. We were corrected in this mission. It's Mother Patrice now.
She got a promotion.
She did. But yeah, it is pretty clear that once we insist that, well, I mean, if you had nothing to do with this, we might as well talk to the Grand Cleric, because she should know that someone's doing this, and if you're not at the hand, us knowing that it's obviously her who did it, she completely folds because she doesn't want this to get back to the Grand Cleric at all, because it is clear that the Grand Cleric had nothing to do with this.
Right. She says the Grand Cleric trusts her stewards to enact the wishes of the Maker. Fuck you.
Blah.
Fuck you.
Blah.
Like, I'm pretty sure if I go to her and say, hey, one of your, quote, stewards orchestrated the abduction and murder of 3 political envoys, Althena will not be happy.
No, this is not what she wants.
Like, Althena, from what we know of her, she may be a representative of the Chantry, which is something that is part of the system that holds mages in oppression. But she personally is opposed to anything that's going to upset the balance.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't want to push things towards Templars, towards mages. She definitely doesn't want to push things like with the Qunari or with the people of Kirkwall. She definitely wouldn't have anything to do with this. And Patrice, quote, gives us something. The Templar who is a radical and grown unstable, Sir Varnell.
Yeah. Convenient that there's this Templar that happens to be going rogue that Mother Patrice happens to know, but has nothing to do with, allegedly.
Right. And it's a power play. Varnell was devoted to her, was obsessed with her, and Patrice is just sacrificing him because it'll mean that she can get away with it and do more of her bullshit.
Yeah. And so she sends us to Darktown, to Varnell's hideout, to find him. When we arrive, we see him torturing the Qunari and grandstanding like a lunatic. And basically, before we can really say anything, Patrice shows up to basically say that he's done it now. And remember Hawk? Hawk's going to kick your ass. And it's funny, this moment made me remember how good the facial reaction design is, both in the Mass Effect games and in the Dragon Age games, because the look of disgust and how pissed off Hawk looks in this moment, at least on the Mel Hawk model, was it looked like Hawk was not only mad about what they were witnessing, but also that Sister Patrice butted in and put it all on Hawk to clean up. It's just such a moment of disgust and anger that is always cool to see in the character model's face without a word being spoken.
Yeah, my whole party was suspicious of this meeting, this rally that we were invited to. Isabel said, I invite you, Sirrah Hawk, to walk into a trap.
Yeah.
Which, yes, it is a trap, but not a trap in the way that we're used to, I think. We're used to traps being ambushes. We're used to physical, actual traps. This is a political trap.
Yep.
Patrice is setting herself up as someone who opposes violence and opposes the acts of Sir Varnell, so that any surviving witnesses can say that she spoke out against it.
Right. So it makes her look good, and it makes us the muscle, which also sort of makes us look good, but mostly makes us look like her puppet, like that she orchestrated the rescue of these Qunari and it went bad.
Right. I noticed that for this particular quest, I have been taking a lot of the red dialogue options. And I think it's because my anger at people who think they can get away with the abuse and violence towards others is just, it has reached a point that I cannot contain it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similarly. I think we see so much of this in the news and in the world on the broad these days that it's hard to want to negotiate. I mean, I am someone who has always fought back about how, at least in the US, that not wanting to communicate or find common ground with the other side of whoever opposes your views, because I think the other side can mean anything at this point, right? But the people who disagree with you was the key, right? There is no democracy without discussion. But as I get older and as it gets worse and as I live under the current administration, which ignores facts and does what they want and actually ignores laws, I feel that less. I feel action is going to do more than words at this point. And it sucks because that goes against everything that I kind of am as a person, as I've grown and as I was raised. But I just don't know that there's room for just quietly sitting on the sidelines anymore, right? But
Oh, definitely not.
I also think that there's a difference between empty words and actual action. Like posting on social media feels useless to me now these days. I don't fault those who do it, but like sharing a thing about the news or sharing a thing about like why aren't you acting about these things? It's like it just feels like a lazy way to like say you've done something instead of doing the work,
Right.
going to a rally, going out, that kind of thing.
I think there's a difference between just pointing out, hey, this sucks, and also saying, hey, this sucks. Here are some action points.
Right. Here's what you can do. Here's where you can donate. Here's where you can go. Here's who you can write. That kind of stuff.
Right. So that shows an effort. But also, I think that there is no point in having a circular argument with someone that has no interest in having a discussion with you. They
Right.
say that they want to have a discussion with you, but they put the burden of proof on their opponent, but it is not up to the opponent to prove this point.
Correct. And I think like those arguments are worse online. Like I think you can reach people in person. Not everyone, obviously, but there's more of an opportunity to for someone to see you as a person when you were looking them in the eyes. But I've given up arguing online. There's no point
Mm.
to it. None of those people, they just want to make a scene. They just want to be shown as the victor. They want to make you break. There's no intent or want to even be right in the sense that they need to prove themselves right. They want to just be right to have the mantle of being right. It has nothing to do with facts or figures or anything. It's just senseless argument for the sake of it to cause a scene and to feel superior.
Which, spinning off from that, kind of makes the binary of our choices with Varnell make a little bit more sense. Because
Yeah.
what can we really say to Varnell to convince him to steer away from this action that he's taken? He's already abducted these Qunari. He's already rallied all of these fanatics around him. These Qunari have been tortured, and he's not going to stop. And what can we really say or do to make him change his mind?
Yeah, it's one of those moments in this game where there's a bad option and there's a worse option. And like, I don't know. I hate this choice. I hate a lot of these binary choices. I understand why we're here with this one. This one makes more sense than others. But my biggest problem with Dragon Age 2 and a lot of BioWare games is that there are often missions that end in this binary choice. Some of them are worth deliberating over, are interesting, are unique, like our favorite companion mission with Legion and 2, right? Having a binary choice there was meant to be confusing and leave an impact. It was meant to be difficult. But this, it just feels like neither of these options will, like, they both feel like bad options. It's bad and worse. But to your point, I think when you're dealing with someone fanatical like this, there isn't a lot of room. Like, I think your theory is right. So the two options here is to tell Varnell to just kill the Qunari, or tell Varnell that you're going to kill him and his lackeys and try and save them. And both Frankie and I chose the latter. And when you do that, he kills the Qunari and then turns to you. And Frankie had this theory that maybe if we had told him to just do it, like it would distract him, or we'd be able to have a conversation, or like there would have been more. But either way, we know on a meta level that the Qunari die no matter what. And so that's why I think this choice stinks. But also, it is teaching you that sometimes there is no good outcome, which I think is important also. I think part of it is I just hate sitting with this kind of choice, right? Because it feels like a failure no matter what. That puts a lot of burden on us, which is part of it, right? This is a hopeless situation for Hawk. Hawk is often in situations where they are trying to make the best choice given the options they have. This is a shepherd thing often also, right? Like often the choices are bad or worse, and you're making the best of what you can with them. And this is one of those choices in the game for sure.
Honestly, I think that's kind of the whole ethos of the Dragon Age series,
Yeah.
where no matter what, you can make the best choices available to you, but in the end, you're sacrificing something.
Yeah.
Something has to be lost. And
Yeah.
I think that's very much the Dragon Age way, so to speak. If
Yeah.
you look at Dragon Age Origins, the only way for everyone to come out of that alive was to make a sacrifice to Morrigan. And even then, that you lose there's no way to keep both Logan and Alistair. There's
Yeah.
if you choose not to have the baby with Morgan, then someone has to die.
Yeah.
Dragon Age 2, it's the same thing. Hawk suffers so much loss. And no matter how you play Hawk, you're making your best guess with the choices that you have available to you. And maybe you play Hawk a little rougher, a little angrier, or maybe you play Hawk as the charming and smooth, sarcastic mage, or maybe you're a little more diplomatic and like trying to be a good person. No matter what, you lose.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I think, the big difference between the Mass Effect series and the Dragon Age series. Even Shepard and Ryder, to some extent, are these action hero kind of characters, right?
Yeah.
They're flawed, but for the most part, they can do a lot of super heroic stuff. The main characters in Dragon Age don't really get that. We see a little bit of that in the Veilguard, and we'll get to that, and even in Inquisition. But even still, in those games, a lot of the choices ultimately come down to what can you do with what you've got.
Yeah.
And I think they're often considered darker or harder games emotionally because they lean more into this realistic, everyone's got a bad shake, but we're doing the best we can. Where up until at least Mass Effect 3, Shepard is basically a superhero who can do anything if you make the right choices until the third game. There's a lot more death or problems that can happen in the third game, which I also appreciated, right? It made Shepard feel more fallible, but most of the series, that's not the case. Whereas here, every main character in Dragon Age has a tough beginning, is making the best choices they can, and even they do heroic things, never feel like a hero. They always feel like someone doing their best, but with a flawed and complicated history.
Right. And I think you touched on something that I think is really important. Shepard can win.
Yeah.
Like, even if it feels like a loss, Shepard can win.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Hawk, even when they do win, it doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah. And we're going to see a lot more of that in the third act for sure, because
Yes.
there are choices that feel like, well, no matter what I do here, we're screwed. But I think that's part of the growth of the story and why I like this story so much, because I mean, look, I'm an Empire Strikes Back defender, right? When the good guys lose, sometimes it's some of the best storytelling. And
Which one is that?
The second one of the original trilogy, where Han Solo ends up in carbonite.
Is that the one where Luke screams, "No!"
Yes.
And then he
that's
falls
that
to
one.
his not death?
Yes, correct. That one too.
I remember that moment.
Okay, great.
I only watched the Star Wars movies when I was 25.
Anyway, and that was 1,000 years ago.
And I have not watched them again since.
But yeah, so anyway, with this, Frankie and I both choose to kill Varnell and Co. Varnell slits the throats and his lackeys slit the throats of the Qunari, and then turns to us. We fight them, we win, and then after all is said and done, yes.
There's something that Anders says that was really impactful for me, because talking about Templars, Anders says they only pick on those whose lives they already hold in their hands.
Yes. It points to the Templars being incredibly manipulative and like finding joy almost in controlling those they can.
Tell me that the writers of this game were thinking about police corruption without telling me that the writers of this game were thinking about police corruption.
I mean, our catchphrase is A-Tab for a reason, so
Yeah.
there's that.
It hit me so hard and so deep.
Yeah. But yeah, so we fight, we kill all of the acolytes and Varnell, and then shortly after, the Viscount arrives.
Can I, before we talk about the Viscount, it took me 4 tries to do this fight.
Really?
Yes. Anders went down like instantly every time. The first 2 times it was because the game froze. And then the
Okay.
last 2 times was because I died. But I was really stressed out. I was just like, I don't want to do this again and again and again. Just fucking why? I'm playing the easiest difficulty.
Yeah, I don't know. I had no trouble with this. I basically put a storm over one group, a fireball at another group, and then...
Well, I can't do magic.
Well, you cornered me into this choice, so now you have to live with it.
I know.
But I
can just stab people really well.
Yeah, well, and so like the fights have become trivial to me. I barely use single target spells anymore because I just do 2 AoEs, a bunch of stuff falls, and then usually my party members can do cleanup. So this fight was not a problem for me.
Oh, I can't wait for the conclusion of this act.
Yeah. All right, so then the Viscount arrives, and it's interesting. Like, while normally I'd be inclined to want to push back on a ruler like this, based on Hawk's relationship with the Viscount, I do get this sense of camaraderie. I do get this sense of actual trust and faith in us, which is nice because most politicians in these games are corrupt or, only out for themselves. And it does seem like the Viscount, at least at this juncture, does genuinely care for his people and doesn't want it to come down to war with the Qunari or an all-out Mage and Templar war. Like, he does seem to want to keep balance and protect people, which is conveyed by the voice acting and the mannerisms of the character. And he is so distraught here. Like, this is the last thing that he wanted. But I do appreciate that also he thanks us because he recognized without us here, it would have been way worse. Like, we still found the best outcome we could considering the options.
Interesting that Patrice is mysteriously gone.
Vanished in the combat.
Just
yeah, totally.
Completely dipped. I agree with you that the Viscount sounds distressed and is deeply shamed, I want to say, by the actions of his people and the implication that the Chantry was involved. I think this weighs really heavily on him, but I do think he's more concerned about his political standing. But like you said, totally. It is about balance, because if he's not the Viscount, somebody else who does not care about balance could take over. Yeah.
It may not be so much about caring for individuals specifically, but he does want to. It does seem like he wants to maintain the status quo to not only for his political gain, but to like keep things as they are, not let things break out in violence. He knows that nothing will come of any kind of shift other than death and destruction, right? And while it may not be completely altruistic, it does end up in the result of wanting to protect those that are under his care.
Yeah, I think it's about maintaining Kirkwall.
Yes.
Like, absolutely. as a structure, as a concept.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like I think he's completely virtuous.
No,
but
I understand.
But he definitely doesn't seem overtly evil and wants to destroy things, which is a refreshing take, honestly. With leadership, at least. Yeah.
I tell the Viscount that this issue is not going to go away.
Yeah, and we're given this option to burn the bodies and hide the torture from the Arashok, or don't hide it and basically let him know what happened. And both Frankie and I chose that because, I mean, we've met the Arashok. If we lie and he finds out, that will make things way worse. It's like being mad versus, I would have been mad if you told me, but lying about it made it worse, right? Like, I'm not
now
mad,
I'm
just
mad
disappointed.
And disappointed.
And disappointed. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want the Arashok disappointed in me.
No, that's terrible. He's
that
so
would be
hot.
The worst. Anyway. So don't hide the torture, because it's more cowardly to hide it, and the Arashok would not respect you.
Yeah, and this is where he thanks us for being here. He does seem to value us. To what end, who knows? Clearly, sometimes as a weapon he can point, but either way, there is genuine gratitude for us having handled it. So that's not nothing. And that's this mission. That wraps things up. Yeah. If you think things are going to get better with the Qunari as the game goes on, well, I've got news for you. Just you wait. I love
that optimistic attitude you have.
Yeah, me too. I'm so glad you're not crushed and hopeless like we are. All right, well, now we can move on to I keep wanting to say Fandom Corner when it's fan mail because they both start with fan, and my brain is simple. We can now move on to fan mail. And of course, we have an incredible recording from our favorite correspondent, Callie. So let's cut to that.
Anathara, everyone. Here are some thoughts on episode 28 and More Trouble at the Bone Pit. Wow, Hubert is loathsome. I want to take over this mine and not have to associate with him. Also, shit, how did he manage to get around me and pay people starvation wages? Indeed, while talking with Sabine, we get personality-dependent dialogue options, and I think this is the first time Frankie and Matt have had different ones. So now we know that Matt has been leaning Paragon lately, while Frankie is still all about the wit and sass. My read on Hubert bringing Lily into this was that he knows I try to avoid getting my hands dirty, and he thinks someone needs to. I have a knack for keeping the miners happy, Hubert says. It is not complicated to make their work easier and compensate them adequately. When I take over, this operation will convert to a worker-owned co-op. One of my rules as a writer is no spiders. I am considerate enough and creative enough to avoid them, even though I personally think they are cool. Grasshoppers are a solid pick, Frankie. Centipedes, mantids, and ants would also be great as dangerous wildlife. And for cute, gentle giants, I would go with beetles, moths, dragonflies and damselflies, millipedes, and isopods. Tina sounds awesome, and the way Frankie describes playing Baldur's Gate 3 with Tina sounds like how I would be. Games making me kill animals always feels awful, and I will either refuse, dissociate, or feel sick for a while. And dragons especially, such beautiful, magnificent beings. Killing one is an atrocity. If I was not being a completionist for the podcast, I would probably avoid fighting them, even if it means leaving a quest unfinished. And I repeat myself, BioWare has missed so much opportunity over the years. Their audience would love to get to be friends with a dragon, or date one. Dragon Age needs more dragons, but not more dragon fights. As always, many thanks to Frankie and Matt for taking the time and effort to make Reignite. And remember, all Templars and most businessmen are bastards. Varric might be the only good businessman.
Centipedes are nightmare creatures and should be abolished from existence.
Yeah, that's
and
why
literature.
they would be great, like, scary wildlife.
Yeah, they like in real life they are terrifying, and I'm afraid of them.
Yeah, I do not like them either.
Ugh,
this
awful.
is why I moved to Northern Ireland, where there are very few bugs. At most, there are horseflies that I can basically shoo out of my house.
Callie, thank you as always for writing in. As to everyone else who's continues to engage on the Discord, this podcast, I mean, Frankie and I would be doing it regardless, but having interaction and conversation, not a thing we've had for every season with every game, we are grateful for, especially since our audience has shifted since we moved on from Mass Effect, because, you know, Mass Effect fanatics are all their own, as one I understand. And so we are grateful for everyone who's stuck around, all of our new listeners, as we continue through the Dragon Age franchise and beyond. So thanks for hanging out, and thanks for continuing to write in. Shall we move on to Fandom Corner, Frankie?
Yes. I'm sorry, I started thinking about a store called Dragons and Beyond.
Do they sell Dragons and Beyond?
Well, they sell...
like Bed Bath and Beyond?
They sell accessories for dragons.
And
then other magical gear.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry. I am not mentally well.
You're not sorry, and we know that.
Let's get to Fandom Corner. I don't have a song for it this time. I don't remember the song I made up last time.
I do, and I'm not telling you despite you.
I know it was Losing My Religion, but I just can't remember how I did it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anyway, for Fandom Corner, I have a book that I just started reading, and I think everyone who is a Dragon Age fan would love it. I'm curious to know what the audiobook is like, because this book is unhinged. It's called Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland, and it is a queer pirate adventure full of magic and mayhem. Avra Helvachi has accidentally stolen the most expensive secret in the world, and the only place to flee with a secret that big is the open sea. So working with his ex, the pirate captain Taveri Azhafar, I definitely pronounced that wrong, by the way. There's like all these accents and like umlauts and things. I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce that. So working with his ex, the pirate captain Taveri Azhafar, Avra must risk journeying to the Isles of Lost Souls. The only things in their way? A calculating new ambassador to the Isles, Brother Julian, a beautiful, mysterious new member of the crew, and the fact that they're sailing straight into sea serpent breeding season and certain doom. But if they can find a way to sell the secret on the black market, they'll be as wealthy as kings, and more importantly, they'll be legends. I have 2 quotes from this that I think will sell it to everyone, which the first one is when describing the sea serpent breeding season, Avra calls it teeth and horny rage. And then when Avra is trying to convince Taveri to not throw him in the ocean, he says, Taveri, Captain Azhafar, do not cover me in tar. Please, we should probably talk first. I have a really neat thing to tell you about. I swear on my own dick that I've got something unbelievably nifty. Markefa paused, the lid half pried off, and raised an eyebrow at the captain. What? Taveri snapped. Swears on his own dick, Captain, she said, a little reproachful. Ought to hear a man out when he swears on his own dick, no?
Amazing.
So now whenever I want someone to take me seriously, I'm just going to say I swear on my own dick.
Of course you will.
I keep it in a box under my bed.
Anyway, well, that sounds like a fun read.
It's really good.
Folks should definitely go check that out. Before I get to my fandom corner, I do just want to say I am playing through Boyfriend Dungeon again for like the 5th time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Over on Fun and Games. As of when we're recording, very recently, Claire After All, who's one of the hosts of Date With Us, did a side quest episode on Boyfriend Dungeon, which was great, which then led me to re-listen to the soundtrack, which of course is all bangers. And I was like, I haven't played this game in a while. I never played the DLC. I should go back to it. And so I'm doing that.
The DLC was nice.
And so I'm doing that now. I'm annoyed that both Jonah and Leia are also both incredibly attractive and charming. It's frustrating. And I am fascinated by the boss of the 3rd dungeon. I won't say more than that to not spoil it, but it is interesting. But I love this game. The dungeon crawling does wear out fast, but like I still love the story and the romance and the characters. And the soundtrack, like I said, is all bangers.
Hey, you know what we should do?
What?
We should do the TTRPG they wrote for Boyfriend Dungeon.
We should do that. We need someone to run it, but we should definitely do that.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
Anyway, if that's something you'd be interested in doing with us, please let us know. Or maybe we can pitch it to the Date With Us folks. They would probably have a lot of fun with that too.
Oh, that'd be a great crossover.
That would be a great crossover. Maybe we'll do that. Anyway, so the thing I am actually bringing is something I'm surprised I haven't mentioned the last few weeks because it's been my obsession, which is K-pop Demon Hunters. This is an animated film created by Sony Animation, the same animation studio that did do the Spider-Verse movies. It was then sold to Netflix and aired on Netflix. It is about a 3-girl group called Huntrix, who are also secretly demon hunters protecting the world. Musicians over the years have protected the world from demons by reinforcing this force field, which is this bubble that keeps the demons out and protects the world. And when demons break through, they fight them. And it's about this group and them almost finally sealing out a great evil and protecting the world for X amount of years when stuff starts to go wrong. and a boy band made of demons, a demon K-pop boy band, also emerges to try and take the audience from them to fight back with a taste of their own medicine, and it's what happens after that. A ton of original music by made-up bands. Frankie knows that's my favorite. When there's a band in a movie, like Sex Bomb, like I love that stuff.
Talk
Huntrix
to me
is great.
about Sunset Curve.
Right. And so the Saja Boys is the demon boy band K-pop group, and then Huntrix is the girl group that fights the demons, and the songs are all bangers on that soundtrack. There's some stuff from Twice, which is a popular K-pop band that friend of the show Cam Hawkins really loves and that I've recently gotten into. But it's also a really good movie. It's a movie where this all femme group is not only depicted as pretty and dainty and like they get rowdy. Like it feels gender nonconforming in the sense that like they're just people, and like it has a lot of anime aesthetics. Like they eat like most ridiculous anime characters eat. They're not like dainty and delicate and protected. Like there's a lot of imagery that just makes them seem like characters and people, and it's not about, well, we're depicting a pop group so we have to fit in these boxes. And while I like K-pop, I'm not as hugely familiar with the scene as a lot of my peers. I did love this film. The music is incredible. The movie moves at a good clip and has a really great story, and it has a lot of story about camaraderie and friendship and overcoming difficult odds and all of that kind of like mushy stuff that you expect in a lot of kids' films, but I think they're handled really well. The cast is incredible. Yeah, I can't praise this movie enough. It's on Netflix now, and if you're a sucker for great pop music and a really good story, you should absolutely watch it, because again, like the music is just some of the all-timers. If you've been listening to the radio at all, you've heard Golden at least once. It's been all over. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So please go watch it.
I am really excited to watch it. I have not had the time or energy to sit down and do so, but it will happen.
You will love it, and it will become your whole personality.
I know. That's, I think, also why I haven't, like, jumped into it yet. Like, I already have a personality, and right now it's pigeons. So.
Okay. Sure.
I love my pigeons. I love my pigeon friends.
Okay.
Anyway, they're getting cranky with me because I didn't buy them new seed today. Anyway, that was Fandom Corner. What's our next episode, Matt?
Our next episode is the final installment of our sister podcast. We will be giving way to them to cover the final installment, right, of the White Lily Murders?
This is the final installment of the White Lily Murders.
So while it's been a fun ride sharing the spotlight with Kirkwall's only true crime podcast and their best, we will be returning to them really shortly after previously, because this case has progressed pretty quickly and they want to wrap up the story as we have it. So tune in for that next time as we conclude the White Lily Murders.
If you like what you heard here, you can follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky as Frankie B. Writes and DJ Stormageddon.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. I mean, if you're here, you're probably subscribed, but on the off chance you found us and listened to this episode first for some reason, please go subscribe. But also rating and reviews go a long way, especially on stuff like Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts or Good Pods. All of those push us up in the algorithm, so when folks are searching by the title Offered and Lost, they don't find a podcast about Lost and Found and find us instead. I can get there. I don't know.
I knew you were going to say Lost and Found, so I was like, in my head, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they say that? And you said it.
Well, I mean, if you are expecting me to make sense after all these years, I don't know who you've been talking to, but it definitely isn't me.
This is true. We're members of the Certain Point of View Network. Visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website, where you can join the conversation.
Yeah, our Discord has become a happening place where folks are talking about video games and comic books, regular books without pictures. I don't know why I always do that. Movies, TV, all sorts of cool stuff. It's really a great place to kind of just share what you're into and find a community of folks who just want to celebrate the things you like. So definitely go check that out. As for personal plugs, I don't have anything new to offer you other than the good old Fun and Games Patreon. We are still doing some incredible stuff. By the time this airs, we will likely be around that time airing our PAX West special. As we speak, Sarah and Jeff Moonen are over there covering that event, and I'm excited to hear what cool stuff they've seen as I was not able to go this year. But otherwise, if you want to check out all the stuff that I'm working on, you can go to djstormageddon.com. It has my merch store, the page for the podcasts I work on, and all of my socials, so you can head over there.
My website is officially live! You can go to Frankie B. Writes to hire me for any number of services. You can find my new projects and see where I've been published. And if the spirit should move you, you can buy me a coffee.
Do it. We both have our own websites now. Look at that.
Yeah.
Although mine is just a hyperlink to my link tree, but it's good enough.
So mine is frankiebwrites.com.
And mine is djstormageddon.com. We'd also like to thank, of course, the incredible Case Aiken for developing some awesome t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or at the Teespring website under Certain POV. We also want to thank Case for designing each episode's show art, especially since I'm pretty sure Case has been left in the dust as far as staying current with the podcast, but is still making some awesome artwork, so thank you for that.
We'd also like to thank Miracle of Sound for our theme music. If you've been jamming along to our theme music, you should head to miracleofsound.rocks and check out Gavin Dunn's other music and merch.
Yeah, Gavin rocks. We're so grateful to be able to use this music. Definitely go check it out. Of course, also, thank you to Red Spinks for our Dragon Age-inspired logo. To see more of his work, you can follow Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
And lastly, thank you for listening. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And remember, this podcast definitely proves all Templars are bastards.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
Welcome to No Small Games, the indie gaming recap and review podcast. I'm Kate, also known as Cater Blossom.
And I'm Emily. You might also know me online as The Specific Egg.
And we met streaming and playing video games on Twitch.
At No Small Games, we combine our favorite genres to experience everything the indie game world has to offer and share it with all of you. We believe there are no small games, only small game studios.
Each episode, we'll choose one indie game that we each played separately and discuss our playthrough experience together.
The good, the bad, and our most memorable moments. We'll follow our recap with a review and announcement of which indie game will be featured on our next episode.
We invite you to play each game along with us and would love to hear from you about your playthrough experience.
Hey, Kate.
Hey, Emily.
I hope that No Small Games brings everyone some big fun.
CPOV.
CertainPOV.com.